very odd. Like he just come off the street walking in like that. Very odd. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have enough creative thought and thought his whatever his casual clothes was in the backstage just didn't work with what the character fit. You know, who knows in that sense. But it was an odd thing. But thank you for the question nonetheless. Amusing. Okay, next question, Matt. Stephen from Ireland. I think WWE is in a bad way right now. They just don't seem to be able to make new stars. I mean stars like a Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey or John Cena of the past. The poster for the Royal Rumble speaks volumes to me. Taker, Goldberg, Lesnar, all over it, and all part-timers. This is a major issue. Your thoughts? So, Matt, back to the old usual chestnut, not making stars, and the idea of having a super mega star, I suppose, because they always call them superstars, but a mega star like a Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey in WWE is slightly missing at the moment, Matt. I mean, if you take away John Cena, there isn't anybody that has that sort of that magnet sort of you want to see more of them, and they got some uniqueness other than if you are a part-time guy. Is that a problem, Matt, where we're seeing these posters going up with sort of Undertaker all over it and Goldberg and Lesnar and none of them are the actual sort of full-time guys?
Yeah, I guess it is. But then, on the other hand, if we had people there like Undertaker, Goldberg, and whatever, and you're putting them at the back of the poster, then people will probably complain, going, "Oh, why at the back? Because they're legends. We won't get to see them for much longer. Make the most of them while you can." And I can see that side of the argument as well. I mean, they should. I mean, Undertaker hasn't really got that many years left in his career, so yeah, better make the most of him while you can, because you won't get an attraction like that ever again.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing necessarily, because all wrestlers should be different. They shouldn't try and imitate someone else. So, just make the most of them while you can, I would say. But yeah, we've spoken about it many times about the difficulties of making new stars, but they're definitely in the process of doing so, because I think if Seth Rollins had another injury and then it was reported that it had ended his career, I think we would all miss him, and we would all look back and say, he was a great talent and could have been one of the new kind of generations of this generation's legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I mean, I can't really add anything. I mean, we spoke about it a lot about new stars and needing rubs and all the rest of it, but you never know. The Royal Rumble could do that this year. You just never know. You might see all these guys over the banner and then they throw us a curveball and we get somebody completely we don't expect. Let's hope. Okay, as another usual emailer to the show, Stay Lucky. He's back. I'm really impressed with Neville as a heel. I think he will do a lot for the Cruiserweight division. What do you think? Also, do you see potential in a Sasha Banks versus Stephanie match heading into WrestleMania? Seems like they are hinting it. P.S. Stay lucky. Always from Stay Lucky. Well, there you go. So first of all, Matt Neville, just a quick word on him. To me, I'm much more comfortable with how he is at the moment than what he was doing, Matt, because he's doing something, which is better than nothing. And I felt like he got lost in the shuffle for a long time when he was doing the thing with the guy with the arrow and all that stuff. What do you think about it, Matt, and him in the Cruiserweight division in general?
Yeah, I mean, I like his new kind of bad guy image, because he's taken more seriously now. He's acting more seriously, and in the ring he does mean business. His moves, you don't get to see them all the time. You're hard pressed to find people that can do those kind of things. So I think it's good that they're making it more of a deal about his in ring skill rather than trying to make him into some sort of superhero for kids to get behind. I mean, they've got more colourful stars, but for someone like Neville, it's important that he's taken more seriously so that his career can progress. So I think it's great that they're doing that. And for me personally, I hope he wins the Cruiserweight title, because I think he'll carry that very well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And Neville, yeah, isn't it ironic, Matt, that the thing I really disliked about him when he was a babyface, I thought he should never have it, is that living cape thing that he used to wear. that's a heel thing for me. Like I would have had him with that as a heel. But he's lost it. Now he's going to become cool, I bet you, and fans will start to like him. But you never know. But it's ironic that that's happened for him. But good anyway. And the other thing to that, of course, is I don't know about the whole. I guess he's talking about Sasha Banks and Stephanie, their little argument segment that happened on Raw. Is there any? Do you think that is any possibilities that is a road WWE could take, having Stephanie, who would be a big match regardless. I mean, a lot of people knock Stephanie sometimes, but I tell you what, I watched her a few years ago against Nikki Bella, and I thought she was actually really good at SummerSlam, and she could probably pull off quite a big match with Sasha Banks. I wouldn't say I'd be against it, but I don't know if it's something that's on the cards. Matt, what do you think on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against seeing Stephanie in the ring again. I think she's got some really good skills, and like you just said, when we saw her against Brie, she was really good. Yeah. And I was actually pleasantly surprised about how good she was. But then she does train hard. But against Sasha, I don't really understand why Sasha. I mean, I've heard rumours that this could be a match, but I don't understand why that would make sense to choose her. I think it would be much more interesting if it was someone like Bayley. Because Bayley is likable and lovable and like a goody. But then Stephanie plays a good, for lack of any better word, a good bitch. It would be good to see them two clash, like personality wise.
Yeah, no, totally with you. I can't really add anything more to that. I think if it happens, again, it's a good match on paper, and again, it might give us two good, solid women's matches on one night, which is good as well. Okay, Joel now emails in from Texas, and he says, "Good job on all your shows. First off, I have a question about Undertaker and John Cena. It seems from what I'm reading that Vince McMahon is no longer keen on having that match now at Mania. Maybe because he thinks it's too predictable after so much was written about it not happening last year. In that case, what will Taker be doing at Mania? And are we seeing the end game for Taker now, maybe heading towards Survivor Series, which will mark its 30th annual show and is also from Texas?" I've heard that as well, and I've heard that Vince isn't overly keen on it anymore, which is a little bit of a downer, because I do still think it might be predictable, but it still would lend itself a big name, the name power of two big names like that, along with Brock and Goldberg. That would be one of the the big drawing to that event. Now, what do you think? I mean, is it something where it is too predictable, and perhaps Vince is thinking it's just not gonna generate as much buzz as it could have been, or all the rest of it? But then, what do you have someone like John Cena doing, and what do you do with the Undertaker in that case?
Well, I guess he could be thinking that way, but I wouldn't really understand his logic, because if that was the case, then I'd be going, well, why are you doing Seth Rollins versus Triple H at Mania then? That seems like, I would say Triple H versus Seth is not as interesting as what we could see with Undertaker versus John Cena. I think that match, it will stand the test of time. I think you could look back on that one in 20 years' time, but look back on Seth versus Triple H, and it will be just another generic kind of feud. I don't think the kind of rivalry between Triple H and Seth has really boiled over. Maybe it will in the run-up to WrestleMania, but it's been left out in the cold for so long now that it's just completely stale. But Undertaker versus John Cena, I'm still holding out for that one. And if it doesn't happen at Mania, then I can only hope that it happens like Survivor Series or something.
Like I say, I mean, I guess that's the way the bookies have gone with it, Matt. That they still firmly believe that it is on, because if you think about it, John Cena has to win that title, and Undertaker has to win the Royal Rumble to make that match happen almost at this stage. And maybe Vince has had second thoughts. Maybe he just doesn't see it, being there anymore. You never know. I'd be surprised if they don't, because again, I don't know what you do with either guy, but we'll have to wait and see. But thank you anyway for your question there, Joel. Next question is from Leah, who emails in about the women's division, Matt. Guys, really enjoying Charlotte. Think she's incredible as always. But I am worried about the WrestleMania match. Everyone's talking about WrestleMania tonight, Matt. Not got the Royal Rumble yet. Where do you think they could go with this and have a great women's match at WrestleMania? So, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. We know she's going up first at the Royal Rumble. She's got to get past that first. But let's just say, Matt, they're going to keep her on the pay-per-view sprint into WrestleMania. Ideally, is there anything else out there than another Bayley type match, or do you think there is more that meets the eye, and they could do something a little bit wild, and somebody comes out left field like a Nia Jax? I don't know. Where do they go towards WrestleMania? Do you think, Matt? Is it Sasha Banks again?
Yeah, well, I can only imagine that at Royal Rumble, I have to assume that Charlotte will retain, and and that they'll do their feud with Bayley a little bit more, and that will carry on to WrestleMania. But look, if we're talking about like we did previously about being predictable, then that is predictable, because it just feels like they'll do that whole thing, and then it'll be like recreating everything they tried to do with NXT with Bayley, try and make her an underdog, try and make it look like she can't compete with Charlotte, and then all of a sudden at WrestleMania she has that moment and she's the champion. That kind of thing would be kind of predictable. I would like to see something different. I know we had a women's triple threat, like last year, but that's a big match kind of feel. They could do that again, and they could have Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and that would be good. And even possibly Fatal 4-Way, put Nia Jax in, at least it's in the mix, and it's open to a different winner. And, if they do it that way, do triple threat or Fatal 4-Way, then they could still even keep that record going that Charlotte has about not losing at a pay-per-view under those circumstances.
Yeah. Unless they're really going to consider putting Asuka up there, then there's nobody else really that would give that sort of buzz. I don't think at this point they're going to have to go back on past matches that they've had and rivalries, because it's just one of those things. That's why I think really the division of women should have just been all the women kept together, because I just don't think it's big enough for two. But it's what we've got, because they by now, Matt, we could have had perhaps like a Nikki Bella, like a babyface Nikki Bella up against Charlotte, and like the old guard going up against the new guard type of thing. So things like that just can't happen currently. But I do think they're a little bit sort of light on numbers in the women's divisions. Okay, next question, Matt. Last two questions coming up, and of course one of them you knew it had to be Matt. Jimbo, wrestler, squad number 9. He's back. His question this week: hello to you both. Looking forward to the app. The questions this week. First, I really like the way the Royal Rumble is going so far. The inclusion of Brock Lesnar and Goldberg is smart. I feel it's going to be a big night and the 30th anniversary, so it's going to be a prestigious night. Will we see John Cena tie Ric Flair's reign? Second question is, do you think WWE... Oh, let's get to that after, actually. Jimbo always does make us work for his questions. There's no doubt about it. He makes us think for him. First of all, tying up Ric Flair. Is it a prestigious event enough? Yeah, I do believe it is. And, of course, it's going to be in a massive crowd. But, again, I just would have preferred if it was against, rolling into WrestleMania, because it's such a good story to go in. Now, I know that they could... There won't be potential at this point for John Cena to win, surely, Matt, then lose next month, and then he wins it back at WrestleMania. Surely they're not going to go there to try and outdo Ric Flair's record that quick. I wouldn't imagine they would. So from all I can imagine, Matt, is if he does win, he's only going to tie it. Which I just would have preferred if it was done on a grander stage. What do you think about it, Matt? Is it going to have significant reference if he does do the Rumble?
I think they could have done it with the Royal Rumble, but the problem with that for me is that they haven't laid it on thick enough on SmackDown.